number in your head for the Eagles?
12. It was 12 when the schedule came out. It might be 10 now. Honestly, because of the head coach. I thought if the head coach was competent, they could win 12 games if their offensive and defensive lines played to where they could play. Looking at the competition, understanding who the other coaches are in the NFC East, understanding who the other teams are in the NFC. I mean, the Washington football team, they're going to lose a couple of games to COVID. They just are. They're not very well vaccinated, and their coach is pulling his hair. Ron Rivera is pulling his hair out. Ron Rivera, who's immunocompromised as a recent cancer survivor, is pulling his hair out at the idiocy of these guys. So these other teams are pretty unstable. The Dallas football team has one of the worst coaches in Mike McCarthy in the history of the NFL. Joe Judge, we really don't know about, and that team is kind of wonky. The Washington football team is a defensive line surrounded by a bunch of yahoos and a bunch of nitwits. You got Atlanta, who they haven't been the same since the comeback and probably never will be. Matt Ryan's 106 at this point. You're going to get walked by Kansas City, and you know it. You're not necessarily going to get walked by Tampa Bay. They're a good team, but you could if you can get to Tom Brady, as we saw in the Super Bowl, you can beat him. So, I can see double-digit wins. But the fact that Nick Sirianni clearly doesn't have this team ready to go gives me cause for pause. It might be October before they find their footing.
Yeah, I thought a guy that was preaching so much competitiveness and being competitive was talking about practice all the time and not the opportunity to play in a preseason game, which I just thought was, as I said many times on the show,
of a guy who never played in the league.
There you go.
It's like it's a joke. It's like there is no way to replicate even preseason action. And the reason preseason games exist, there's practice, then there's preseason games, right? Then there's the real show. And they missed a step. And they've got a lot of play. Devontae Smith, to a large degree, Jalen Reagor, because those were kind of goofy games that he got in last year. Hurts only had 4, and they were 4 at the end of the year when everybody was kind of worn down. Opening weekend, September in the NFL, there's nothing like it in sports. There's never been anything like it in sports. And every year, it amplifies more because the guys are bigger, faster, stronger every year. This is going to be a million miles an hour for these guys, even guys who played late last year but not early last year.
I'm with you, Marcus. Marcus Hayes, Inquirer.com. Make sure you check out his stuff. Again, here's one of his latest articles. You can check it out, find out even more about this Eagles defense and why there's some reason to be optimistic, more than a couple of reasons to be optimistic about this Eagles defense. Marcus, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you, my friend. And I know you were playing golf earlier today. And how'd you play?
Lots.
My man. Marcus, thank you so much for joining us on the well-endorsed Rothman Orthopedics guest line.
My pleasure.